The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee is ordering subpoenas for private contractors that skipped its probe into alleged anomalies in flood control projects nationwide. Only 7 of the 15 contractors that bagged most of the Marcos administration's flood control projects were represented in the hearing on Tuesday, August 19. Senate Bato de la Rosa moved to subpoena the absent firms and require their attendance at the next hearing.
May I move for the issuance of subpoena to those absent invited resource persons, particularly yung mga contractors, Mr. Chair, to require them to be present in the next hearing. I so move, Mr. Chair.
With no objections, Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Rodante Marcoleta approved De La Rosa's motion. The Senate Blue Ribbon panel said it sent 15 invitations to the contractors named by President Bongbong Marcos. Of the 15 contractors, 11 replied and only 7 sent representatives. Later in the hearing, Senate President Pro Tempore Jinggoy Estrada also moved to subpoena the absent contractors, but he withdrew after learning the motion had already been made. However, Senator Win Gatchalian modifies Estrada's motion. He proposed that the panel summon the owners of the firms instead of just summoning their representatives.
May I recommend to our Senate President Pro Tempore to subpoena the owners of the corporations, not merely representatives. Kasi na subukan na natin dito yan, pag representatives, wala hong isasagot ho yan. So doon po sa General Information Sheet, the Articles of Incorporation, nakasulat ho doon sino may-ari, papuntahin ho yung may-ari at saka presidenta ng kumpanya. I so move.
To be practical, Marcoleta says they will invite the head and officer most responsible for each corporation. But he says if there are valid legal excuses, the panel will request someone authorized to bind the corporation and answer the senator's questions. The Department of Public Works and Highways confirms the existence of ghost flood control projects in some districts of Bulacan, saying an investigation into the matter is now underway. At the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing on Tuesday, August 19, Senate President Pro Tempore Jinggoy Estrada asked Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan to confirm reports of ghost projects in the province. Citing information his office received, Estrada said one contractor behind the ghost projects in Bulacan is Wawaw Builders.
My office received reports that there were ghost projects in the municipalities of Kalumpit, Malolos, and Hagonoy in the province of Bulacan. Can you confirm this?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's true.
Well, this is information that we have received, Your Honor.
And the contractor, allegedly, Wawaw Builders, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Wawaw Builders is one of the 15 firms earlier identified by President Bongbong Marcos as having secured most of the government's flood control contracts. According to Bonoan, Wawaw Builders handles 85 projects amounting to 5 billion pesos in Bulacan alone.
Wow, builders. The number of projects, the total projects, total cost of the projects that have been implemented, 9 billion all over the country, Mr. Chair. But let me just point out, in Bulacan alone, Wawaw Builders had 85 projects amounting to 5,971,000,000.
Bonoan also assures his agency is already investigating the matter.
Are you investigating this right now?
Yes, Your Honor, we're investigating it.
What is the status of your investigation?
They will be coming up with their financial and physical report in 1 week's time, Your Honor, to my office.
The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee is investigating alleged irregularities in the country's flood control projects. In a State of the Nation address in July, Marcos ordered a crackdown on contractors and officials involved in alleged corruption in the projects. Senator Erwin Tulfo says bills addressing political dynasties in the country are now difficult to pass into law since many lawmakers in Congress are related to one another. During the Senate Committee on Electoral Reforms and People's Participation's hearing on Tuesday, August 19, Tulfo interpolated former Commission on Elections Chair Christian Monsod regarding what the senator called a vague definition of political dynasty. Monsod is one of the framers of the 1987 Constitution.
Ang tanong ko po, bakit hindi po naisip ng mga framers? Did you at one point talk about it na ilatag na natin, to be clear, okay, bawal yung tatay, anak, asawa, etc. or bawal yung magpipinsan sa posisyon. Bakit hindi po nagawa? Ngayon nahihirapan po tayong i-apply itong batas na ito, sir.
Tulfo lamented that lawmakers today are finding it difficult to pass anti-political dynasty bills since many in Congress benefit from the system.
Sa totoo lang ho, tatapatin ko ho kayo. Hindi nahihirapan pong ipasa. Kasi paano naman po ipapasa yan, gagawa po ng batas ang Kongreso kung marami po sa Kongreso ang magkakamag-anak. How are we going to pass this law or make a law regarding dynasty kung yung Kongreso mismo ay magkakamag-anak, may mga relasyon po sila.
Meanwhile, Monsod explained that the framers of the Constitution left it to Congress to define political dynasty. He said they believed that including the mandate in the Declaration of Principles and State Policies was enough to prompt lawmakers to enact an implementing law. Monsod lamented that the framers trusted Congress to act on political dynasties, but he believed that had not happened.
We were trusting Congress to do its job. And the extent and gravity of the problem may change over time. Today, it may extend beyond the fourth degree. In later years, after we have gained political maturity, the problem may be limited to 3 degrees, or 2 degrees, or only 1 degree, father and son, husband and wife. And it's only the Congress which can calibrate with timely legislation the prohibitions according to the needs of the times. As it turned out, the EDSA moment in our country quickly dissipated and self-interest quickly returned.
Before being elected as senator, Tulfo said he would resign from the Senate if an anti-political dynasty bill were ever passed into law. Recently, the Makabayan Bloc filed a bill in the 20th Congress seeking to ban political dynasties. Progressive lawmakers in past Congresses have repeatedly proposed the measure, but it never prospered. Aside from Tulfo, Senators Robin Padilla, Ping Lacson, and Kiko Pangilinan also filed their anti-political dynasty bills. The Armed Forces of the Philippines has never left the vicinity of Scarborough Shoal, according to Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad. National Maritime Council spokesperson Alexander Lopez earlier ruled out the deployment of AFP warships in Scarborough Shoal. In a press conference on Tuesday, August 19, Trinidad said the Philippines military forces never left the vicinity of Scarborough Shoal, the Northern Islands, Philippine Rise, and even the Kalayaan Island Group. He assured the AFP's presence is always there. Trinidad maintained that there is no conflict with his statement and the previous pronouncement of Lopez. He said the AFP, Philippine Navy, and the Philippine Air Force regularly conduct maritime patrol operations and air surveillance flights in the areas. He also highlights the role of the Philippine Coast Guard and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources in conducting its own missions. On August 11, Chinese vessels collided while pursuing a PCG ship off Scarborough Shoal. Along with BIFAR, the PCG ship was on a mission to provide aid to Filipino fisherfolk near the shoal. 2 days later, a Chinese fighter jet intercepted a PCG aircraft above the waters off the shoal. Scarborough Shoal is otherwise known as Panatag Shoal or Bajo de Masinloc. Beijing continues to reject the 2016 Arbitral Award that declared Scarborough Shoal a traditional fishing ground for the Philippines, China, and Vietnam.